All right, we are watching Will's backstroke under the water. You're swimming into the camera commentary with Coach Chris. So this is where we're getting a real good view of that straighter arm. And so we're going to talk about a few things here. Now, the big thing I want you to notice is how good your body position is. We'll let you get you closer to the camera. So you've got a really, really good alignment with the hips and arms. This is your drag profile. This is what basically the water's hitting. And that's a pretty small drag profile. I see a lot of kids your age, their hips kind of drop lower, so they're going to be exposing more of themselves to the water as they swim through it. But you're doing a really good job. And then your hand entries outside the shoulders, which we talk about a lot. There's your shoulder line and your hands coming in outside of it. That's good. See that nice wide entry, that skinny Y that we talk about? That part of your pull is excellent. Okay, but one of the things we want to work on, look at that still head. Sorry, I need to comment on that because if you see, look at all these frames and that head is perfectly still. So you're doing an excellent job on that. Lots of shoulder roll. Okay, get the shoulder down, but I'd like to see you get the shoulder down a little bit sooner because you can see this first part of your pull. We're still very, very, very straight. We got a very long axis. If we can get this shoulder down just a little bit deeper, not much, just a little deeper, that'll allow us to get a little bit more bend so we have more leverage. We want to be just a little deeper with that elbow. And the hand will probably be in a similar spot. It'd just be tighter into the body and in a much better position. Your hand angle's perfect. I mean, look, fingers are pointed to the side. I mean, that's all great. That's exactly what we want. But we're just keeping that arm, and there's a good example, keeping that arm too straight as we get to this part with that high shoulder. So, again, I think the only really thing I think we can improve that I'm seeing that will make a drastic improvement is just that timing. You know, when you start your stroke, you want the shoulder to come out before the hand. And you want the shoulder to come in before the hand, and you want to lead it. There's that shoulder up. And you want to drive it down just a little deeper. And right about here, we want to start actually bending that arm. So just keeping that arm straight a little bit. If we could get that bend going right here, if we have this arm going, you're going to be able to bring it in and really kind of follow through and get a lot more power out of it. So the shoulder isn't off very much. So when I say get your shoulder deeper, I mean like maybe an inch, maybe. It's really just trying to bend that arm earlier. You know, you want to get, let's frame back to where you just enter your hand. So we just entered our hand. You want to go straight arm as you pull to about here. At this point, we need to start bending and catching so we can push that arm through and get a real good snap to it. And that's going to increase your power a lot. So the only thing I'm seeing with that pull that would make a huge difference is just getting a little more elbow bend a little earlier in it. Keep the hand alignment, though. My worry is you're going to bend the elbow and start bringing those fingertips instead of how they are like in this shot where they're to the side. You're going to start kind of pointing those fingertips up towards the surface. Don't. Make sure you're bending that wrist so your hand's anchored and flat and we're pulling through. That also helps you finish because if you look at your finish of your pull, because you have that kind of straighter arm, your finish is way out away from your body. I want this hand to finish and pull through a lot tighter. Like it should be right here. As you finish, your arm should be basically almost right next to your hips, right next to your thigh, as you're pushing back and through, not kind of to the side and through. So that's all kind of related because how we're kind of starting the stroke and keeping that arm straight, that's kind of how we're finishing it. So if you can just bend that elbow, get the hand in tighter earlier on, that's going to help you pull more straight back and finish the hand closer into the body, tighter in. So we got a little bit we can get out of the pull. As far as, you know, this will help increase tempo and everything. But the big thing I think it's going to help is that power. Once we start getting a little bit more of a finish closer to our body, once we're sweeping that hand and finishing that sweep right next to that leg, right there, we're going to be able to really finish and snap through and get a lot more energy. So what I am seeing, again, a lot of great things. Body position, spot on. That head, look at that. That's as good as it gets as far as keeping that head still. And you've got a great shoulder rotation. I just want you to try and lead a little more downward with that down shoulder and get it a little bit deeper, just a little bit, so you can bend that elbow a little sooner and get that hand just a little bit deeper so you can bend that elbow without having to kind of turn it over so the fingertips are pointed towards the surface. Okay, and then we want to finish that pull, not this direction. Okay, we want to finish that pull along your body. Again, think like a skinny Y. Your hand enters, and then it's going to finish right along your body. And right now, your stroke looks like a skinny X. So your hand's going to enter wide, and then your hand's going to finish wide. So you're like pushing away from your body to the side instead of towards your feet, which will propel you more forward. So a couple minor tweaks, and you're going to really increase the power in this backstroke. So we'll talk about it as we look at practice. And just try and see if we can get those hands to finish a little bit closer to the body, because a lot of what we're doing right. So really good job, Wills. You'll get this video pretty soon, and then I will see you at practice.